Tracer Pro was made in 2024 by GameSir for specific Huawei smart TVs. It is a gun-shaped controller attachment, which can accept a position-sensing special remote, the Lingxi Pointing Remote Control. Albeit this controller cradle and remote combination is very reminiscent of the Nintendo Wii and its guns, the Tracer Pro system relies on a different technology, Ultra-wideband, often abbreviated as UWB. Ultra-wideband enables high bandwidth and low latency communication while operating at a very low energy level. The Lingxi Pointing Remote Control utilizes UWB for spatial tracking, employing both time of flight and angle of arrival measurements. It runs on UWB chips made by the Chinese manufacturer ChipsBank. Even though just being an accessory connected to a remote control, the complete Tracer Pro system is the first UWB-based gaming controller, predating the Suiki EvoTop. Reminiscent of the PlayStation Move, the tracking system makes redundant use of a camera facing the player for additional motion tracking. In case of the Lingxi Pointing Remote Control, it's an AI camera, which makes the Tracer Pro also the first AI-assisted light gun, predating the GameSir plug-and-play system. This video will discuss the Huawei Lingxi Pointing Remote Control and the GameSir Tracer Pro in great detail, but sadly I am unable to provide first-hand experiences on the gaming performance, as I don't have access to any of the supported Huawei smart TVs. These devices were made for the Chinese domestic market, and just very few people in the West own them. What I will do though is collecting feedback on my Bilibili channel from my dear Chinese audience. I will pin the summarized feedback as top comment on YouTube. The Huawei Lingxi Pointing Remote Control was released in 2023 as natively compatible with the Huawei Vision Smart Screen V5 series, Vision Smart Screen S5 Pro, Vision Smart Room 4 and the new Mate TV series. Using a kit, the compatibility can be expanded to the Vision Smart Screen S3 Pro and Vision Smart Screen 3. The Lingxi Pointing Remote Control won't work with generic Android TVs and its communication is server-side encrypted. The remote control feels pretty premium thanks to its metal housing and the push-button switch-based buttons. On the front surface is a microphone, which works via push-to-talk using a dedicated button. It can be used to summon the Huawei voice assistant. The ring around the enter button is a directional pad with touch-sensitive surface. Right above it is a status indicator LED. The plus-minus buttons act as volume control. Between these buttons and the Huawei logo there is another touch-sensitive surface. The UWB motion tracking and the touchpads can be disabled with the switch next to the USB-C charging port at the bottom. There is a speaker inside the remote, which allows it to chime when needed in a Find Me feature. The Lingxi Pointing Remote Control has NFC capabilities and can act as a bridging mediator to stream the screen content of a paired phone to the TV. The thick cardboard packaging is very nicely presented and feels deluxe. The Tracer Pro can be used as pistol or as submachine gun. The front grip is removable and the hand grip can be replaced with a rifle stock. The stock meets the shoulder at a weird angle, causing the whole gun to point upwards when being shouldered. This is fine, considering that the Tracer Pro has no sights or other means to aim and is meant to be shot by feeling, but it indicates to me that the gun wasn't designed by real-life firearms enthusiasts. On the right-hand side is a square button which opens the tray into which the Lingxi Pointing Remote Control is placed. When the tray is slid back with the remote inside, the remote is impaled by a USB-C connector located in the back of the tray. The inter-device communication relies on serial UART. Front and back triggers feel very nice. They rely on miniature microswitches. The rifle bolt acts as reload button. It is metal made and cycles when the gun is being fired with force feedback engaged. Above the handle is a nice feeling Hall effect based joystick. It can be clicked in to act as an additional button. Using a special key combination, the joystick and the reload handle can be recalibrated if the need should ever arise. Surrounding the joystick are 4 action buttons labeled A, B, X and Y. On top of them are 2 additional buttons for return and menu. All these buttons rely on push-button switches. On the sides of the gun are RGB LED strips, the color and pattern of which can be adjusted on the controller itself using simple button combinations. The light intensity of this decoration can be set to 0, 30, 60 or 100%. On the bottom of what looks like a magazine, there's a USB-C socket for direct charging of the 4000 mAh battery. Alternatively, the Tracer Pro can be charged via its stand. Gun and stand made using high-quality pogo pins. The stand itself looks very neat and has an anti-slip rubber bottom. It can be attached to tripods and similar equipment thanks to its 1/4 inch -20 mount hole. The force feedback is solenoid-based and moves the metal bolt. It can be set to low, medium or high intensity, and it can be turned off if desired. Even at the high setting, the feedback isn't very strong. The mechanism isn't exceedingly loud. The feedback is responsive, and fast consecutive shots work just as well as single shots. The gun is set to full auto and will continuously cycle if the trigger is held pressed. Overall, the force feedback is a well-executed addition. The box of the Tracer Pro is elegant white and shows the controller cradle from 2 angles. The front image uses a nice gloss-accented print, whereas the back has detailed bilingual explanations of the feature set. As it can be seen more and more often, my box arrived with white tape covering all references to firearms. From what I have heard, the complete Tracer Pro system has a good gaming performance and is mostly limited by the attributes of the associated Huawei smart TVs and the very limited game catalog. The few available gun games seem to be primitive Flash, Java and Android mobile style games. Yet worse, as the gun doesn't offer any means to aim, the games have to rely on on-screen cursors. Due to the small game selection, people play generic and educational games, which were meant to be played with the Lingxi Pointing Remote Control itself. Personally, I like the Tracer Pro a lot. Its weight is well balanced and the buttons are nicely placed. Even without front grip, I could grab the serrated magazine with my support hand. The build quality seems high and the controller feels good in the hand. It must be stated, however, that my unit arrived with a defect. One of the LEDs is broken and constantly flickers, accompanied by audible coil whine. Still, I am very happy to have this oddity of a technical marvel in my collection. This is the end of the review. My name is Ben. I thank you for viewing.